This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the new Full Battle Rattle studios.
To lead, not from behind, but to have America lead from up front, letting the rest of the world know that, we expect peace in this world. We don't want to have to intervene.
For the second straight show, we welcome in Angela Box for her straight talk commentary on everything. We had a great conversation last week with Angela, and we continue today tackling the hot button issues. Stay tuned. Angela Box is coming up. Plus, we'll have the latest national and Alaska headlines and Sarah Palin news. We'll visit the Crow's Nest with Tanya Crow in California, and a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is coming up from Texas. Kelly Carlson is on assignment, no on target this week. We look forward to Kelly's return. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio, available at mamagrizzlyradio.com and now available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. The Palin Update is sponsored by Full Battle Rattle. Full Battle Rattle, helping veterans suffering from combat-related disabilities through the healing power of music. Learn more at facebook.com/fullbattlerattle.abq. Now we're pleased to bring back Angela Box. We had such a great discussion last week. We wanted to continue with her today. And we're happy to welcome Angela back to the program today. Angela, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you for having me again.
Now, on angelasoapbox.com, you write about everything, especially the issues of the day, and you give your no-holds-barred opinions on them. And I want to talk to you about some of the things you've written, and just also what's going on right now. We talked on the show last time when you were here a little bit about how you feel the president, really, they have nothing on him, and that's why they really don't know what to do at this point except say Russia and Russia and Russia. So I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear the way you're going to say it. What about this whole Russia deal? That's all they keep talking about. Meantime, we have a chance here to really do a lot of great things that we should and that the president is focusing on, but all we hear from the media and the Democrats and a lot of the establishment is Russia.
Well, it's just ironic, isn't it, that about 6 years ago, Hillary Clinton had that little Staples button, the Russian reset. Democrats have loved communism and loved what the USSR was all about for the last, 100 years. It is so mind-bogglingly strange, and the only thing I can think of is it's called projection, and the Democrats are masters of it. They know that they're the ones that are in bed with Russia. They know that Hillary Clinton's husband, whatever you want to call him, arrangement partner, got millions of dollars from Russia, and then we gave away 20% of our uranium to Russia. They know that that the Ukrainian firm was working with the DNC, and the DNC wouldn't let the FBI to come in and check their servers. 40 times they asked. RNC was like, "Sure, come and check our servers." It's projection, but it's it's the collusion of the media and the Democrats. And Rush Limbaugh likes to say the media is now running the Democrat Party, and I think that is really true. But what I'm hoping is that the normal person is just goes. I hope their eyes just glaze over. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And Trump's biggest defense is that I'm a very instinctual person. I kind of know what I know. There's nothing to this.
Nothing.
And he's like, what the hell is wrong with you people? But the problem is it's the deep state, it's the swamp, it's everybody against him.
Right.
I'm hoping that he is the man for our time, and that I'm hoping that I'm not terribly religious, but I am spiritual. I certainly believe in God, the clockmaker and the watchmaker, and I do believe that God put certain people in places in history for good or for bad, lessons to be learned. And I'm hopeful that Donald Trump rises above the melee and the swamp and just keeps kicking ass, just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And like you said, eventually they're going to have to report on something good. With no help from the Republicans in Congress.
Well, people who may not understand the scope of the swamp, as you said, it is amazing. I think you just hit on it, saying look at what real things happened regarding Russia and liberals and Hillary and Democrats. But think about this for a moment. they know that they have the full media on their side and almost all of Washington on their side. So therefore, they even delve into something where they know their hands are dirty, where they're guilty, yet they will go and talk about it against the president because they still feel that shield is so strong that it's like the crazy person, and people shake their heads yes.
But the media shield is so strong, and conversely, we have a Republican Party that, first of all, didn't want Trump. Secondly, didn't think he could win. Thirdly, now that they've got him, their little cush jobs are in jeopardy. So they're also working against the president and what he is trying to do. And the American people are pulling our hair out, saying, "Build the wall, just kill Obamacare." And we want tax reform. We want 15% for corporate, 15% for small business. I want a flat tax or a fair tax, whatever. I'll take 3 brackets. Get it done. If we can get those 3 things done, if the idiots, they're not idiots. They know exactly what the hell they're doing.
Very well said.
Leadership knows, and we have smatterings. We have the Freedom Caucus. We have a few in the Senate, but it's leadership who's like, James Lankford, and I'm from Oklahoma, and he came out the other day and he said, and someone said, "What the hell? Why aren't you getting this done?" And he looked at this reporter and he said, "They don't want us to sit down and talk." That is the problem.
That's right.
It is a lack of will. It is a lack of courage. It is a lack of understanding. They think, here's the thing, they understand that we're not going to vote for Democrats. That they know we're not going to vote for Democrats. So they know we'll go out and freaking vote for them every time.
Right. Or sit it out or put a write-in and then the establishments vote for them. But I want to ask you this about...
we can't sit it out, though. We can't.
No. But I mean, sit it out by putting in a different candidate, the independent, whoever it is you may vote for, but then the party lines still go ahead and get these guys across. Let me ask you this. 1, if you think it will happen, and 2, if you think it should. Should Donald Trump, if this continues, if they just still keep standing in his way, because to me, these Republicans are the biggest problem. You know what you're getting from the crazy left. They're telling you, we want to fundamentally transform America, right? You hear what Hillary, you hear what Bernie, you hear what these guys say. They're all on the same page 100%. Okay, great, but you know where they stand. The Republicans have the numbers, but that's just an R next to their name. They're not on the same agenda as President Trump. Should the president, if this doesn't change in the next few days and weeks, does he go out and publicly go after the Paul Ryans and the Mitch McConnells by name in a way that he did, say, in the primaries, a la Lindsey Graham or Little Marco or Lion Ted or whatever else, in his colorful way, to show everybody that this is the problem and they need to get on board? 1, does he do that? And 2, do you think he should?
Well, I'm a Ted Cruz fan. I was Ted from the start, but unfortunately, Ted, I think, has he was so much of an iconoclast that he can't get anything done. His idea to have El Chapo pay for the wall is fantastic, but I digress. I don't know if he will do it, and
real quick, Angela, before you go, Cruz has been great the last few weeks with Trump.
Yes.
So let's
he has.
Let's put that out there too. Whether you're a Cruz person or not, or if there's love lost there, to our listeners, Cruz has not been the problem during this 6 months of the administration.
No, Cruz has not been. I think Ted realized he might have overstepped just a smidge at the convention. I remember my boyfriend and I sitting there, we're like, "Oh my God, the speech is amazing." And then it was like, oh, what the hell are you doing? And I think he realized quickly he overstepped, and he brought it back in. I think Ted, I think he realizes it's not his time, and when his time comes, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but he knows he's got to support Trump, because Trump, fundamentally 90%, we may call him a conservative, Trump, or not, but he wants the same things conservatives do.
Absolutely.
He sees these things that are broken and need fixing. But back to your question about, is he going to and should he? Is he going to? Probably not. Should he? I don't know. I think it's the kind of thing where maybe he can bring Paul and Mitch in and be like, and not soft pedal it, but be like, I have been very nice to you people. I have
And
not
he has
gone against what you are doing, and you are clearly not doing the will of the American people. I am president. They voted me in the primary, and they voted me into the general, and you are not doing the will of the American people. Your approval level is at 12%. Now, his is at 40, 42. The base hasn't gone anywhere, but they suck. And that's Republicans giving those opinions, too.
Yeah.
So do the math, boys. Do the math.
Well, I just, you know why they hate that he tweets, because he usurps the crooked media and he's able to speak right to the American people. They hated his rallies because he would call out how they wouldn't show the crowd on the camera. And I mean, full blast. And that's why when you have a Susan Collins, when you have a Murkowski, when you have these people who are stopping things, you need to go out there and call them out. It worked for him before. Remember, you said you don't blame the people in Hollywood, the gaffers who, don't say that they're conservative. Well, these are the same people who voted for Trump, who were scared to put stickers on their car, scared to put the signs up, but were very, very, very happy. That monster vote, that quiet vote. And there's people out there who, this will work for them if they hear it, because unfortunately, like you said, everyone is still against him. So it's going to be interesting to watch that. I want to talk about some of your writings specifically on Angela's soapbox.com.
Yes.
Great stuff. People have to check this out. There's a lot to look at. Everything's great.
I try and write once a week. Some weeks I take a week off if I'm like, oy, these people are pissing me off. I can't even but
well,
yeah, but thank you. I appreciate that.
A couple that I really liked, and even my 9-year-old daughter understands this. She laughs at it with me all the time and says it to me. You wrote one. It's titled, "I'll bet another concert or vigil will finally stop the Islamists." And, and again, my 9-year-old is wise enough to say to me, like, "Hey, Dad, all we have to do is sing," because, to paraphrase Katy Perry. So, isn't this something, though, that, or Ariana Grande, isn't this something that this is actually believed by people? I mean, some of these weren't born in 9/11, I guess, or choose to ignore what's going on now, but they really do believe, like, okay, we want to kill you if you are a Christian or Jew, but you know what? We're going to have a concert, and maybe then you won't.
And not only a Christian or Jew, but a Muslim who is an insane. So, I mean...
Yeah, and of course, and women and gays and all these groups that, voted for candidates who enabled them. But, when you see this from Hollywood, because, listen, Hollywood went full blast against Donald Trump. I mean, all the way down, even after he was the nominee, or not officially, but to try and to steal the nomination from him at the convention. And we proved that if you vote, Beyonce and friends really don't have the power that they think they do. But here they are still making fools of themselves and saying these things. It's crazy talk, right?
Well, it's crazy talk, but what I have a really great article that I was inspired to write after going to this concert with my boyfriend, called "Catfish in the Bottlemen" or something, whatever. And it was on millennials, a primer. So that kind of sums it all up of what we're dealing with here. Millennials, the global open borders, global citizen. Yeah, they bought it. They have drank the Jim Jones. They love it all. And so there is no talking to these people. There is only defeat, and painful defeat, stomping them into the dust, because that's what they will respect and that's what they will understand. And yes, I said it, and yes, I mean it. Not literally, of course, but figuratively. And Donald Trump is the first person in my lifetime, I mean, I was very, very young during Reagan, in my lifetime that I can remember taking it to these people, just shanking them and twisting it and then pulling it out real slow. And I love it, and I want him to continue doing it. It is much needed in Washington, D.C. So I wanted to just give a shout out. The other day, I was tweeting something. I said, McCain did something else that was just atrocious, and I said, the only good thing about the 2008 run was Sarah Palin. Yeah. And I mean it, and I still mean it. But, as many disagreements as I have with that man, and there are a myriad, we all wish him well. It doesn't sound good. And my father's battling cancer himself, so it's like, I hope he gets better, but it's a brain tumor. So.
Well, Angela, I appreciate that. I lost my aunt. She was 40 years old to brain cancer, and listen, nobody's been more against the things we've seen from Senator McCain over the last few years than myself. And that said, the only thing that should be thrown at him right now are those well wishes like you just conveyed. And,
Absolutely.
Even people, I love how they have to qualify it when they put a post online or talk about it. They go, even though, what do we even have to say that for? I mean, if someone is sick.
Well, I was one of the ones that even said, even though I have major disagreements with this
right,
man,
even though you have major disagreements.
Well wishes.
But when people have to go ahead and write that publicly in a statement, I mean, then others who are, going even farther and wishing ill will on him. I mean, this is like the liberal crowd that, every time when Dick Cheney had a heart situation, and when you see Sarah Palin, George Bush, whoever it is on Twitter, they want these people to die. They really say these things all the time.
They do.
And
they say it all the time, and that's and what our side needs to understand is that we cannot get into the gutter with them. Yes, we must fight them. Yes, we must defeat them. Yes, we must call them out for the disgusting freaks that they are. But we must not get into the gutter and wish death upon liberal heroes. That is not ever the way to go. And for our side, if they're doing it, stop. You're not helping.
And Angela's latest piece, mere tolerance, and in quotes, will not be tolerated. I really like that as well. You talk about how we used to use the word tolerance, but now everything's all about acceptance, unless, of course, you're a Christian or a conservative, right?
Right. And also, there's another recent one we had a 12-hour layover in Seattle, as I said, 11 hours too long. And I wrote an open letter to Seattle. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I see that too, yeah.
That city... It was amazing. It was every cliche you can possibly imagine.
Well,
from the jump, it was a cliche.
I love the exact words you used, repressively crunchy.
Yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was like everyone's wearing like REI, sandals and a lot of patchouli, not a lot of products in the hair.
Yeah,
real crunchy, but really aggressive, and literally heroin addicts walking around the street. I'm not exaggerating.
Oh yeah.
Literally heroin addicts. Well, it was insane.
Well, remember, we saw so many riots there. They weren't as glorified as some of the others because it didn't have the race factor in it. But, they were doing this burning the cop car thing, well before we saw it in Ferguson or before we saw it in any of these other places, in the late 90s. So the whole Wall Street situation and whatnot. So, yeah, you got some winners there. So,
they've got the progressive cred. That is for sure. So, I mean, I'll never, ever go there again. But it was a sight. But yeah, thank you for giving my little website a shout out, and everyone please follow me at the Box That Rocks with 2 X's, or my public Facebook page. It's Angela Box Public. I write because I must, and I express because I must, and I think more people need to do that, whether it's in your little small church group or with your family or wherever it is. Everyone needs to just stay activated. Don't get depressed. They're trying to depress you. I fall into that trap too. I'm like, I cannot hear one more piece of BS. But I'm like, that's what they want to do. They want to depress us. And we cannot be depressed, and we have to keep going.
Sound like the founders.
Amen.
Angela, thank you so much. I hope you join us again.
Absolutely. I had a blast. Thank you, Kevin.
Don't forget to visit Angela's site, angelassoapbox.com. Now it's time for Sarah Palin News, headlines, and more about Governor Palin. About darn time women in D.C. can bear arms. Gary Sinise is awesome. A movement about We the People. Winnie the Pooh banned. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Damon family. Not a good day for Hillary. Redefining the term crazy like a fox. Christmas in July by popular demand. We've teamed with Merchful for this new gear guaranteed to make waves. How soon before heads start spinning? Don't wait to find out. Grab yours before August 15th. Visit Merchful.com/snowflakes. You have to see this shirt, folks. You're going to love it. The latest on the travel ban. John McCain is one tough fighter. We know he'll face his diagnosis with courage and strength. The Palin family continues to lift John McCain and his family up in prayer. Bureaucracy at its worst. Remembering John Hurd. More monkey business from the far left. And a thank you to Governor Palin for featuring my stories on Tim Tebow and his amazing run in the New York Mets farm system. To read about all of these stories, visit the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety and to read her devotionals, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page. Follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA. And don't miss the news, sarahpalin.com. Now let's head to the crow's nest. Here's Tanya Crow.
Thanks, Kevin. So this week, I keep bringing to mind a word that has a lot of power, it has a lot of meaning, and it says virtue. Behavior showing high moral standards. Goodness, righteousness, morality, integrity, dignity, rectitude, honor, decency, respectability, worthiness, and so forth. We're all human beings, right? This is not the easiest of words to live up to, but it's something that's in the back of my mind as much as possible. Do unto others as you would have done unto you, for instance. And, healthcare is such a huge topic, and it blows my mind how there is a political party that put into play something that has so little virtue in it. I can't even begin to count the ways in which it is not virtuous, and took a healthcare system that, yes, needed reform, needed, certain things to be looked at, but there's a number that keeps getting thrown around, the 20 million people that are going to be possibly thrown off that were on, and people that were now being given health insurance that were never getting it before. But the number that I can't believe that the Republican Party doesn't throw out there is the 220 million people that were negatively affected by this law. People don't speak about those stories. Why isn't that put out in the press more and more and more? These are the real tragedies. These are the real stories of families that are moving out of the country because of their health insurance, because their needs were not met by the policies that were offered that have everything under the sun in the policy. And that's what people ended up paying for. And this is where virtue comes in. Virtue is a choice in how you act and behave. And in my opinion, the opposite of virtue is tyranny. And that's exactly what the left uses as a weapon against the society that we have at large. And it's despicable to see how there are politicians that have no shame about their level of virtue in their life, which is practically none, and politicians that have come out wealthy and rich versus businessmen and people that have truly made their way on their own, not on the backs of taxpayers, and that expect us to not have a say as to how these funds are distributed and where our money goes to. And getting that voice back is crucial. This is Tanya Crow with Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tanya Crow on Mama Grizzly Radio. More from the Crow's Nest next week.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
President Donald Trump won the November 8th election in a landslide with 306 electoral votes to Hillary's 232. And every waking moment that a Hillary supporter exists, they experience the glaring rejection of stupid liberal policies, lies, and corruption from the American people. This, if you're a Democrat or a progressive, are all accepted. Remember, the ends justify the means for the progressive left. Of course, that's the Alinsky model that we all know. I read a fantastic article this week by Jim Hoft at the Gateway Pundit, and I want to talk about it because it's exactly what you and I should be talking about, we should be outraged about, and that is that we have a do-nothing Congress at 200 days. Obamacare still in place, massive taxes, regulations still in place. I know you remember, just like I do, 2010, the pleas by Republicans. Please just give us the White House. And we the people did. Then in 2012, more House gains. 2014, please give us the Senate. And we the people did. Then Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan, boo-hoo, complained, we're just 2/3 of the government. We don't have the power to get anything done. Please give us the presidency. And we the people did. But guess what? Republican leadership is still not on board with President Trump. You can look at the photos, look at the videos where they have to be seen with the president, and they look irritated, miffed, aggravated that Trump is the president. What we find is there is no synergy between the Congress leadership and the White House. This is a recipe for disaster for any elitist who thinks they're going to get reelected. No matter how hard President Trump is trying to convince, inspire, and work with the Congress, they don't want to work with him. And unfortunately, if Paul Ryan's Congress doesn't want to play ball, well, it's time to get a new team captain. How about that, Paul Ryan? This is the people's house, not yours. Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell have not just forgotten who they work for, you and me, but when these guys reach this kind of powerful position at the federal level, you don't just work for your constituents. You work for the country, right? You are supposed to be there to lead, to inspire the rest of your fellow congressmen and women. And they aren't getting the job done. As far as I'm concerned, should be a vote of no confidence for both of them. And on March 8th of this year, Paul Ryan told Tucker Carlson that the first, quote, 200 days would consist of the following work: repealing and replacing Obamacare, overhauling the IRS tax code, rebuilding the military, doing infrastructure right, repealing harmful regulations, repealing Dodd-Frank and the Choice Act, and funding the wall. Well, on July 22nd, the first 200 days ended, and little to nothing's been accomplished in spite of Congress being controlled by the same party as the president. I am disgusted, but certainly not surprised, guys. This is why I am working with the Convention of States Project, because Congress will never reform itself. Let me repeat, Congress will never reform itself. This is why Governor Palin and Bristol have been outspoken and have been part of the Convention of States Project since we launched in 2013, 4 years ago this week. So here we are, day 200 plus one, and counting. What has Congress achieved? A big fat nothing burger. Obamacare is still in place. The U.S. tax code not only hasn't changed, but Americans and American companies remain shackled to the highest taxes in the world. And still, with a $20 trillion deficit and no fiscal relief in sight. The U.S. infrastructure is broken. So much for those, quote, shovel-ready jobs. Ha! Lots of signs that, hey, Obama is working on your highway. I'd just like to know, where is that money? Where did it go? Who got the money for the shovel-ready jobs? And we have the crappiest infrastructure on the planet. Now, President Trump's been able to remove a few of those Obama regulations, but certainly not the ones like Dodd-Frank that were put into law by the Congress. I think the most egregious is that congressional leaders are standing back and watching the fake Russian conspiracy story without saying one thing. Crickets. And actually, their silence does say it all, right? Because we've got rabid far-left judges who think they have the right to set the nation's immigration policy and all these other policies, and that they have the, quote, authority to overturn Supreme Court rulings. And there sits the Congress like a bunch of thumbsuckers doing nothing. Wah! Let's practice our impeachment muscle. Let's flex the impeachment muscle and start some impeachment proceedings against federal judges who refuse to hold up the Constitution as the rule of law and our bedrock and standard for our nation and our people. It's time. We have the power to knock out those liberal judges right now. I urge you to ask your congressman or congresswoman to replace Speaker Ryan and Senator Mitch McConnell immediately. I believe Paul Ryan should actually do the honorable thing and step aside. Honestly, Congress should have replaced him on day one of his efforts to sabotage President Trump's agenda. Hey, Mr. Speaker Ryan, last time I checked, you didn't get elected president, so it's time to suck up, Buttercup, and get to work on President Trump's agenda. The president, folks, is only doing what he can, which isn't much without the help of the Congress. This is a complete failure of leadership. It is time to govern, Republicans, a failure of leadership by the Republicans in Congress. And I am not sick of winning yet. We haven't even begun to win. And Republicans are acting like America's biggest losers. All I have to say is come 2018, they may be part of their own self-fulfilling prophecy when constituents decide to elect real winners, people who will go to Washington with a desire to help work the president's agenda through and help bring relief to the American people and American businesses. Tweet me this week at Tamara Colbert. Let me know what you think. Meanwhile, I'm going to be down in Austin at our state capitol in Texas with hundreds of Convention Estates volunteers working with our grassroots to hold our own state legislators accountable and force them to do what the Speaker of our House failed to do during our last legislative session. Please remember, every day you can exercise your civic duty and flex your muscles. Do it this week. God bless you. God bless our nation. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy, On Target, and The Crow's Nest, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. Like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, at Tanya Yoga 13, and at FBR ABQ. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to breitbart.com/columnists/Kevin-Scholla. I'm also contributing to sarahpalin.com. Please check out my latest piece this week. Visit sarahpalin.com/author/Kevin-Scholla. Honored to be working on the governor's new site. Thank you to SiriusXM and the Patriot Channel. I was a guest on Patriot Tonight last week. Had a blast. Love the new format. I want to thank Tamara Colbert, Tanya Crow, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Angela Box, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Full Battle Rattle. Visit facebook.com/Full Battle Rattle, ABQ. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. And a special happy birthday to Tamara Colbert. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.